All right, so let's dive into the meat of this. So, what are essential oils and how do they work? Let me first say this is going to be a brief overview. So, hopefully, you won't be bored. But if you are a science junkie and want a lot of scientific information, we can point you in some really good directions of things you can read and do some research on your own just to validate what we're sharing here. But this is a quick overview. So, basically, essential oils come directly from the plant. It's the most powerful part of the plant. They contain all of these organic compounds and constituents within them. And then they're typically steam distilled, or they could be cold pressed. And they're put then in one of these beautiful little bottles right here for us to use. Now, they work very powerfully. There's 3 ways that you can use them. So you can inhale them and breathe them in aromatically. You can apply them on your skin, or those that are regarded as safe and are dietary oils can be used for ingestion as well. So there are studies that show that just breathing them in, inhaling them, that you will actually have the effects on our hearts and our livers and all of the other organs in our bodies within just 3 seconds. It's amazing. And topically, if you rub them on your skin topically, within 26 seconds, they can be in your bloodstream, affecting all the different cells and organs in your body. So very potent, very powerful, definitely worth learning more about. When you look at the different constituents in these oils, it's very impressive just how they can have such a powerful effect. And they can really affect, like I said, the different organs. So really depending on what your personal health goals are and needs are, and we're going to talk about some specifics in just a few minutes, you're going to look at different oils to help target those needs in your own personal body and health. So is this a new fad? Is this something that's a trend, or, because all of a sudden I know a lot of people have been hearing about them and they're kind of curious, is this a new thing? Well, actually, history shows that essential oils have been around a very long time. In oldest scripture, it talks about essential oils being used and brought to Jesus, the frankincense and the myrrh. It talks about there are historical studies and books that show that the Egyptians used them very frequently. They use them for beauty products. They actually, one of the oldest deodorant recipes contains essential oils, and that was made by the Egyptians. And the Romans used them in their bathhouses. And so this has been used all over the Middle East and other parts, and then in Europe as well. And ever since World War II, they've become just this newer, they've become more aware of them in our part of the world. And so this is not a new thing. They're slowly becoming more and more popular. And I think that's just because people are looking for alternative solutions. They want to live a more natural, healthy lifestyle, but they don't know how to. And with oils becoming popular, they're learning that there are options. So let's talk about how they work, because like I said, they come directly from the plant, whether it's from the shrubs or the flowers or the resin or whatever part of the plant. It's a very delicate process to produce really pure essential oils. And in fact, there's really no labeling laws. So you can pick up a bottle and it could say pure essential oil on it, when in fact, it's not pure. So this is something you need to be aware of, and you need to also kind of do your homework on to make sure that you are buying and using good quality. Because I know before I found Young Living, I used other brands because it would have an organic label and I would use it, but I never saw health benefits from them. I never really understood that they could have other better properties. So when you look at, if you consider like a symphony, for example, it's going to have these instruments. These musicians are all playing together and they're trying to create this beautiful, just harmonious sound. Well, what happens when one of the instruments is out of tune, or one of the musicians gets a step behind? It doesn't create that same sound. And so in the same way, all the different organic compounds and constituents within each oil need to work harmoniously to create a therapeutic benefit. And that means also that there needs to be no other things that are added, no chemical solvents, nothing else that's synthetic. And so we're going to talk about that just for a second, the 4 grades of essential oils. So grade A would be therapeutic. Those are those that are grown in organic settings. There's no pesticides or herbicides used on these oils. The climate conditions, the fertile soil, all of that is an ideal setting for that oil to produce very therapeutic, pure oil. That also means that no solvents have been added. Nothing has been added. It's directly from the field to the distillery to the bottle with nothing else added. Okay, grade B would be food grade. Those might still be organically grown, but they will have oftentimes pesticides, herbicides sprayed on them. They might have some other solvents that are used to lengthen the oil, the production that they have, to kind of extend it so that they can get more profit out of it. Then grade C is going to be a perfume grade. Now that grade very often is going to have different synthetics that are added in a laboratory. They're going to have, because they want to maintain this scent that is the same all the time. But if you've ever gardened or know how plants grow, that they don't always smell the same, the different varieties and all of that, and different seasons and the soil conditions, they really do affect the smell. So that can change in a very pure oil. But a perfume grade is going to have those cancerous causing solvents and other things added that are very dangerous and toxic for our bodies, only to produce that aromatic effect that they want. And then grade D is floral water. So this is kind of like the trash water. Whenever they do the distillation process, they at the very end, the oil and the floral water actually separate, and the oil is then taken out, and that's bottled for the essential oil. But the floral water is kind of the leftover, and that's what grade D would be. So imagine going to your refrigerator, taking out your orange juice, and pouring 5% orange juice and the rest water. That's not going to taste the same. It's also not going to have the same health properties or benefits. Okay, so that's what grade D is going to be doing. So really, the truth of the matter is you really only want grade A. If you're going to spend the money to purchase essential oils, you're doing it most likely because you want to have health benefits. You want to have that vibrant wellness. And why would you go and purchase something that could be a B or C or D grade and could have these chemical solvents, these other things, toxic ingredients that are added, and then you're going to lather them on your skin? That's not what we want. That's not the ideal. You really do want to only purchase grade A. And in order to do that, you kind of have to do some homework. You have to ask the questions of, where are your plants growing that you're producing your oil from? Where are your farms? What are the conditions? Do you spray herbicides? All of those things. You know, I really did do my research, and I vetted and figured out Young Living was the only brand that I felt comfortable using. They're all organically grown. They don't spray herbicides or pesticides. They handpick the weeds. They grow their plants all over the world in the ideal circumstances and conditions so that they'll produce the best oils. They have farms that they own, and so they know where each batch of oil comes from. They have stringent third-party testing in laboratories. Each batch goes through multiple rounds of testing. So I know, and I feel very confident that they're putting in the work that needs to be done to make sure that what I'm purchasing, using on my body, on my kids, in my home, to get rid of other toxic ingredients and chemicals, actually has the best quality oil that I can find. So that's a little bit about Young Living and about essential oils, why I chose Young Living though. We call that our seed to seal. I'm going to do a graphic so you can read a little bit more about that. But that is our guarantee with Young Living. And so the rest of the evening, when we talk about the different uses for each oil, it's really regarding Young Living only. So I would not suggest taking any other bottle that you might have at home, that you've purchased at a drugstore, or going and buying from there and then utilizing them in the same manner, because you probably will not get the same results, and you could be adding other toxins into your body. So hopefully that gives you a quick overview, some helpful info, and now we're ready to dive in and learn about the individual oils in our premium starter kit. It's the best way to get started. It gives you a great overall collection of the basic needs in every home. So let's get started with that.